Welcome back to Sitting with Spirit. So, when I closed my eyes and I tuned into Spirit, I saw two things very, very prevalent. One thing I saw was just this powerful guardian angel, like with its wings wrapped around the collective. And I feel like this is a moment where a lot of people are navigating rock bottom moments, difficult moments, painful moments, moments of change, moments of up level ultimately that are wrapped up in a lot of uncomfortable breaking of comfort zones. And so our angels just wanted to make so clear that you are not alone. If you are feeling alone, if you are feeling discouraged, if you are questioning yourself, if you're in a moment of self doubt, which again, I think is a good sign because it shows that you're on the verge of an up level, I just want to make so clear that every time I close my eyes, I see these angels' wings wrapped around you. You are held, you are held, you are held, you are protected, you are protected, you are protected, and you are not abandoned. And if you feel like you're questioning your intuition, you're questioning your path, you're questioning if you are supported, that's what they came straight out the gate with. The other image that I saw I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's reminding me of a TikTok that I saw where this guy is like in his living room and somebody the upstairs neighbor has like a water leak and the ceiling is getting more and more full of water until it finally bursts all over his living room. And that's what I was seeing, this sense of like a water buildup where it's getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And we're in the burst moment. We're in the moment where we can't continue to hold everything that we've been trying to manage and rationalize away. And it's like we're on this shifting timeline and both can't be true at once. And it's truly this phoenix energy moment of shedding the ashes so that the new light can come in. And the ashes are this buildup of water and emotions that are opening like a floodgate. And I know that we're in the first week of Cancer season at the time of recording this, so it is definitely an emotional time. And it's also interesting to me because it comes on the heels of Reagan's message about the junk drawer. And that feels very relevant to this water buildup too. And what I'm getting is that this isn't just about our current circumstance. It's about every time we've ever in our life been hurt a similar way. And it's built up. And that's the thing about grief or difficulty. When these big emotional things happen to us, it triggers every time we've ever felt that emotion, even if we don't rationally realize that. And so I just see this buildup of water, and it might actually be like, oh, that's so unfortunate. It burst and it flooded the living room. But it's actually exactly what was needed because now you can fix the pipes. Now you can repair it and be more structurally sound. And if it was just built up, built up, built up, that is so heavy to hold. It's not easy for us, our body, our emotions, our energy level, our light. And so it's no accident that these two images came at once because our guardian angels are holding us through the transformation. And if you didn't feel like, you got the love you needed in childhood or the care, or you don't have a support system that you need in this moment to go through it, lean into your angels because they are holding you through this change, transformation, healing, shedding, evolution. And that's what it feels like. We're at a breaking point energetically. We're expected to move forward with new energetic strategies. And that, although we can understand it, it can be clunky to learn a new dance. It can be difficult to learn a new dance. And so we've gone through such transformative years that we can't move forward now as we used to because we're not the same. And also life has changed. Our circumstances and what's expected of us and what we expect of ourselves is changing so rapidly that we need new energetic strategies and faith in ourselves to figure it out one step at a time. So that was the first message, was that the dam is breaking and that's a beautiful thing. Feel all the feelings. The second is that I did have a female past loved one coming through. And she just felt like such a bright light, such a bright light. She felt very sensitive to me. She felt very connected to animals. She just felt like such a bright, pure light. Like I just wanted to smile. And I do feel like she passed relatively young and that there was a lot of tragedy. And I feel like people in the family were blaming themselves. And what I was getting, which is an interesting parallel to the subject of what we talked about today and with the dam breaking, is that she was very sensitive and very, how do I put this? When painful things would happen in her life, it hit her on such a deep level that she chose to check out, to numb. And I do feel substance abuse with her. I do feel like she went down a path of drug use, of substance abuse, and that ultimately that's what led to a heart problem that ended her life. So I do feel like there was this really tragic message or feeling from her that she came in as like so bright, so pure, and didn't realize or understand how deeply she would feel things. And so the numbing agents that she used to control it were exactly what sort of led to this dark path. And I know that's very common. And again, lots of spirits band together to get a similar message out to the collective. She was showing me that when she started the substance journey, it shifted her perspective to very low lows. And where she used to be this bright, sunny personality, I see that she slowly started shifting to this place where she was only focused on the darkness and that it was really hard to get herself out of that hole. I also, again, felt heart palpitations, problems breathing, pressure on the chest. It felt like there was a heart thing. She was sending me roses and dandelions. And so those were two flowers that I saw her sending, which felt very symbolic for whoever is listening to this that can resonate or thinks that this is their person. I got this sense that, you know, she sends you flowers and to pay attention to that, especially roses and dandelions. I heard the name Emily, which was interesting. And then I also got this kind of choked up feeling in my throat chakra. It's almost like when you want to cry and that lump forms in your throat. That's what I was feeling. And it made me feel like that sensation of like, what if I could have said the right thing? What if I could have, you know, and I feel like there maybe wasn't a clear goodbye and that there was a lot of grief around that and that she doesn't want you to hold on to that. And so basically the message from this spirit is don't be afraid to ask for help because she felt lost in her own depths. And it's interesting to me that she's the spirit who stepped in right after I gave the message of the water bursting and the dam opening and the guardian angel. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are experts in the field who can help you navigate whatever you are going through. You are not alone. Someone somewhere has gone through the same or similar circumstances and can help guide you through it. And we are not meant to be alone. Sometimes we think we have to be experts and have the answers for everything. But when we're in a rock bottom moment, we need to lean on experts and healers in the field. And when it's so real to us, we can get lost in it in a way that's almost impossible to navigate ourselves out of. And so this spirit is telling me that she just wishes she asked for help and that she didn't want to be a bother. She feels like such a sweetheart. I love her energy. And she just has this bright sunshine, like yellows and oranges and pinks around her when I tune into her. And she just feels like she was in this place where she didn't want to be a burden. She didn't want to hurt people. But in doing that, she didn't also give her people the opportunity to fully love her. And when we ask for help and we show up in these vulnerable moments in an open way, it gives the people that love us a chance to really unconditionally, one, show us how much they love us, but two, see the real us, which is the true unconditional love. And so it's kind of a two-part message, like ask for help in your community. You don't have to be an island onto yourself, but also ask for professional help because we're in a time where there's so much depth and change and dam breaking. And for some people, it can be like, nothing that dramatic is happening. Like, I don't need help. But it's an accumulation of so many things that you might not even realize that have led to this energetic moment, which leads me to the next message that came through, which is sometimes in the spiritual community, and I think everybody's guilty to a certain degree, We feel so uncomfortable sitting in the discomfort. We can even see it as a form of failure to feel anything less than light and energized and bubbly. And we try to skip through the feeling our feelings part to the takeaway, to the lesson, to the growth, to the next version of self. And we skip the actual sitting in the unknown and the discomfort, which, if you circle back to the episode, I spoke about that time of integration is actually where the up level happens. And so the message here is that the takeaway will not be registered on a full body resonance if you don't sit in the discomfort and take the messages from the feelings. The feelings are not the truth, but they are messengers to deeper things that need your attention. And if we skip right through that process to, okay, what's the takeaway? How can I be more powerful? What's the new mantra? How am I rewiring this? We rob ourselves of the magic of discovery. And that's part of what we're doing here in a physical body, is not able to just run away and float into the oneness of everything like we can in spirit, but we're sitting with these question marks, these difficult dynamics, these things that we didn't ask for. And we can't just float away back into oneness. We have to grapple with that and digest that and evolve and become stronger, more wizened versions of self. And if we try to block ourselves from anything we deem less than perfect, we rob ourselves of all of the magic. The magic lies in the shadow. I've said that before. The magic lies in the shadow. And so there's just a really important message here of not letting yourself fall into superstition. There's been some damage done in the spiritual world where it's like anything you think you create. And because of that, it creates spiritual bypassing and an avoidance of shadow and being like, oh no, like I'm being slightly negative today. And so that's going to make everything go wrong in my life. And I think that is like shooting us in the foot, because that's not you. Your inner villain voice is getting your attention for something. And actually, if you don't address it, that is how everything in your external world will be clunky and not quite right, because the puppet strings of your subconscious are trying to show you where the healing needs to go, and you're denying it from a superstitious place of thinking that if you engage with it, you'll shoot yourself in the foot. And that's actually not the truth. And it's the Hermetic principle of correspondences that says, as above, so below, as within, so without. And everything we talked about on this episode today is about creating more space on the inside that reflects expansiveness on the outside. And if you think that you're a failure for feeling anything less than joy at all times, you're robbing yourself of what we're doing here in the human experience. And I love that Reagan was a Gemini, because she spoke a lot to the duality of life. And that's one of the Gemini lessons, is that there is no positivity all the time. The duality is the frustrations, the disappointment, and the hurt. But in that space, we grow and transform to embody the light and be more grateful for it and recognize it in even bigger ways. And without one, the other couldn't exist. So don't shoot yourself in the foot by believing the narrative that anything less than Stepford Wives robotic happiness at all time means you're some sort of spiritual failure or that you're manifesting bad things. Really watch out for that, because it can't coexist with deeper spiritual work. You'll keep blocking yourself. And as I'm seeing this emotional dam breaking and a lot of the debris and old wounding being cleared out at this moment, if you try to avoid that or numb that or escape that or mantra over it, you'll keep yourself in a sort of half in, half out place, and your external might reflect that. So this is a really deep place to do exactly what that spirit, that beautiful spirit, came through and said. Ask for help. The tools are out there. We're sometimes not meant to be our own healers, because it's too intertwined with us to be able to see the next path. And that's where it's really important to realize that in a trusted healing space, that can be so, so helpful to find next steps. And so let yourself be in the discomfort, let yourself be in the unknown, let yourself be in the disappointment, let yourself be in all of these things, and recognize that's not a failure. It's actually a display of great strength. And that doesn't mean co-create with those and make it worse and believe it. It means listen to it as a messenger so that you can move forward in a more holistic way. And that's the message today, my loves. And it might be an intense moment, especially with that first image that I saw, but meditate on those guardian angel wings wrapping you in their light and in their warmth, and let it carry you forward to make the more powerful choice moment to moment. And sometimes the more powerful choice is facing our shadows, our deepest fears, and our concerns head on. And sometimes the more powerful choice is loving ourselves enough to just sit with our authentic experience, whatever that is. And so be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself, and try to really root out the part of yourself that's twisting the knife that just doesn't need to do that anymore. Claire, do you have anything else you want to add?
As always, that was just a message I deeply needed to hear. And I just love the image of the guardian angel with its wings wrapped around us. I think sometimes when we're in a painful moment, like you said, we want to run away from it, or we feel like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. How do I escape this? But I don't know. Sometimes we have to be in it and let ourselves be held and know that we are safe to walk through it.
Absolutely. And if that same pain, frustration, doubt is coming up over and over and over again, it clearly is coming up for a reason. And it's a way that your angels and guides might also be showing you the path to exactly what you want. And the first step is walking through this dark, overgrown forest of our shadows and our fears, not sure what's on the other side, but just taking the journey and saying yes, and knowing you're held through every step of it is leading you in this counterintuitive way to exactly what you're calling in.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, I hope you all have a beautiful week, everyone. Sit with this information. And like Reagan suggested, even after this podcast, maybe just take 10 intentional breaths and invite your guardian angels to just stand on every side of you while you do that, and just sit in their presence, and it will completely start to shift your entire life. Love you all and have a beautiful rest of your week.